everybody! On this segment from Blast from the Past, we have brought in our expert court case analyzer, Julia Siegel, and we're going to be discussing court cases Marbury v. Madison, U.S. v. Lopez, Gibbons v. Ogden, McCulloch v. Maryland, and U.S. v. Morrison. Welcome, Julia!
Thanks, Grace. It's great to be here today.
It's great to have you here. You look great.
Thank you.
So, we brought you here today to tell us a little bit about these court cases. Recent events have dug these up from the past.
Yes. I'll be happy to answer all of your questions.
Well, first off, let's talk about one of the most well-known cases in our history, Marbury v. Madison. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Long ago, in 1803, as you know, the House of Representatives chose Thomas Jefferson as the third president. But before he was brought in as president, John Adams had appointed 42 Federalist judges the day before his term ended. And this whole fiasco is known as Midnight Judges. So, Thomas Jefferson ordered James Madison not to deliver the commissions, including one to William Marbury.
Oh my gosh, what happened to Mr. Marbury?
Well, he went straight to the Supreme Court and under Section 13 of the Judiciary Act of 1789. But Marshall said it violated the intent of the Constitution and couldn't issue his writ of mandamus, which would have ordered Madison to deliver these commissions.
Wow, then what happened?
Well, the plaintiffs couldn't force Madison to deliver the commissions because of the Judiciary Act, and it was deemed unconstitutional, and eventually judicial review was established from this.
That is remarkable, Julia.
I know.
What about McCulloch v. Maryland?
In this case, James McCulloch was a cashier at the Bank of U.S., a branch in Baltimore, and the state of Maryland passed a law saying that every bank needed a license from the state and that state stamps should be placed on all papers. But McCulloch he wasn't having it, so he got fined $2,500 for not getting the license and not getting a stamp.
He did not.
He did.
What did they do?
Well, McCulloch's counsel said the federal government had the right to charter banks, and the power to operate banks was an implied power of the Constitution.
Interesting. Well, we'll be right back. Here's a quick commercial break.
Have you been in a sticky situation? Well, I'm Timothy Purvis, and I can get you out of it. Just call 1-800-238-7222.
Here with expert court case analyzer, Julia Siegel.
Hello, everyone.
Our next case we're going to discuss is Gibbons v. Ogden. Tell us about it.
Okay, I'll have to let you know before I get into it that this one is kind of a sad one. Thomas Gibbons and Aaron Ogden were close friends and business partners in the steamship business, but they let business get in the way and they had a falling out. So basically, Ogden had a Livingston's boat license, so he could navigate New York steam traffic from New York to Elizabethtown, New Jersey. But Gibbons got mad because of this. He was jealous and all that rage. So anyways, he started to open his own company that also operated between New York and New Jersey. You see where the issues come about.
Clearly.
So Ogden said that state law took precedence, but Gibbons said that federal law did in trying to determine who was regulating interstate commerce. But the first round of fighting went to Ogden, and then it escalated and eventually went to the Supreme Court, and they said that steamship activity was regulated by Congress.
That is so sad. Two friends who let business get in the way.
It is. Very sad. But it did establish who has the power to regulate interstate commerce, and it established several laws about navigation.
Well, thank you, Julia. Now let's get into some court cases from our century.
Let's do it.
What about U.S. v. Lopez?
Well, this is also an interesting one. Alfonso Lopez was a high school student in San Antonio, Texas, so not far from here at all. And he brought a concealed handgun to school and shot 5 rounds of ammunition. 5. Anyways, his weapon was discovered, obviously, and he was charged under Texas law with having firearm possessions on school premises. But the next day, these charges were dropped, and he was charged with violating the Gun-Free Zone Act of 1990.
How in the world did Lopez think he would get away with that?
You know, I wondered the same thing, and I asked myself that question. But Lopez tried to have the charges dismissed on the grounds that the law was unconstitutional and that Congress didn't have the power to legislate with respect to public schools.
And what did the court have to say about that?
Denied his motion, obviously, and Lopez was found guilty. But here's the interesting thing. He was only sentenced to 6 months imprisonment and 2 years of supervised relief and just a $50 fine.
Well, he got off easy.
Sure did.
For our final case, can you tell us about U.S. v. Morrison, the most recent case in our segment of Blast from the Past?
Of course, I'd be happy to. In this case, a girl, Christy Brzonkola, enrolled at Virginia Tech in the fall of 1994. Shortly after the semester started, when she was just getting used to things, she was allegedly, repeatedly sexually assaulted by 2 varsity football players, including one boy named Antonio Morrison. So after the incident, she suffered severe emotional distress and later had to drop out of school because of it. And she finally brought this case to the courts against the 2 males, including Morrison and the university, in the federal district court.
Oh my gosh. What was the court's decision?
Well, they convicted the 2 boys under the Violence Against Women Act of 1994, and the court upheld the conviction, stating that the responsibility lies with the states.
So what was the court's reasoning?
They said that this exceeded congressional power under the Commerce Clause and under Section 5 of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's all the time we have here today. Thank you for being here, Julia.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And we'll see y'all next time on Blast from the Past.